This is another positive one that I am. Well, I guess I should say it's more or less positive. So, Nintendo just dropped an app called Nintendo Music. And this is a mobile app that allows people to listen to a variety of music from a bunch of Nintendo franchises. And yeah, I mean it's available now. I think it should be available both on iOS and Android. Um, the only thing is you do have to have a Nintendo Switch Online subscription in order to use this app. So, um, as far as what all is included in it, I'm not 100% sure. I know that like it's starting off with a selection of music, and that they'll add more as time goes on. Um, Considering the fact that there is currently no way to actually buy Nintendo soundtracks, this is a way that you can listen to what in many cases is some fantastic music. I don't know that they have like I don't see anything to indicate that they have like Xenoblade music on there, but you can buy Xenoblade soundtracks. So there's at least that. Um, but yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, this definitely was an out of the blue thing. I feel like to some degree Nintendo is sort of sucker punching us with unexpected news. First Alarmo and now the app. It's I don't know. I mean, it's interesting and kind of cool that they have this thing, but the fact that I mean, essentially this is just an offshoot version of say Spotify or something like that where I can't remember if at some point Nintendo's music was on Spotify. I don't remember. It's been a long time since I even touched Spotify, so I don't know. But so on one hand I'm just like having a dedicated app for something that could have already done something is odd. I mean, also I mean, I think it's kind of cool that they have some playlists that are already sort of pre-made, based upon stuff like if you want a boss battle, if you want something more calm, if you want something more with a faster tempo, something like that. That's pretty nice. But I feel like some aspects are, I feel like they're not really necessary. And as you mentioned, while a lot of games haven't had official soundtracks, there are some that have received soundtracks. Like Zelda did have a soundtrack, Breath of the Wild. In fact, a good portion of the Zelda games did have soundtracks released every now and then. A few Xenoblade Chronicles games had soundtracks, even if they were only, I think, with the special editions. Like X had it with the flash drive. Chronicles 2 had one.
Well, all of the Xenoblade games have soundtracks you can purchase.
Oh, okay.
Because I have all of them.
Okay. So on one hand, I feel like, and I guess partially this is my mindset, I would much rather have a CD to buy and just rip the music and put it on my phone than have to use an app. And I mean, especially considering the fact that, I mean, sure, you can download music. They did say you could download music, but I feel like it's the same thing sort of like with YouTube Premium or Spotify, where even if you download it, it's not so, or like even like say also with Amazon Music, it's not something that you really download and you can use and keep. It's something that eventually that DRM is going to kick in, and you have to either connect to the service or it's just not going to work anymore. So I don't know. And then the fact that also you have to have a Nintendo Switch Online account or to use it. So like say for example, you're someone who doesn't care for the Switch or you don't have any interest in buying it, but you're like, say you like Nintendo Music, you'd have to pay for an online service that you aren't really going to use just to listen to the music. And I think that tying that there is pretty it's unnecessary. I mean, sure, some people would say if you have a Switch and you're already paying for online, that's just an extra benefit. But I
Right.
really feel like looking at it from another aspect is the fact that maybe some people just don't have a Switch or care to own one, but they really like the music from Nintendo games. Then you're paying $20+ for something that, you know, might not necessarily be that worth it. So yeah, I it's an intriguing idea, but it's definitely not for me. And
Right.
I mean, I don't have a Nintendo Switch Online account, so I'm not gonna be getting this. But yeah, it's definitely interesting.
So, I'll say a couple things. For one, with the soundtracks, you can get physical versions because it's what I have. I have physical versions of all soundtracks. I have the CDs for uh, Chronicles Definitive Edition, Chronicles X, Chronicles 2, and Chronicles 3. So you can get soundtracks for those, and that's exactly what I did. I had the physical soundtracks, ripped them in uncompressed wave format so that I could have those on my phone, and just on my computer in general, which is how we have that music included in the podcast from time to time. In terms of the value added proposition, I think it's one of those things where, like, if you already have the subscription, I think it's like, okay, you're already paying for this, then it's no problem. Then I think it's good from that standpoint, because then at least you're getting more for your money, assuming they don't raise the price by including this. But I still personally, I would much rather than just make it possible to buy many of these soundtracks. Preferably physical, but even digital would be better than nothing. Because it's like, I don't think I'm going to even bother with this app. I just don't see the point. Like, I don't listen to music on its own a whole lot anyway. I mostly listen to like podcasts and YouTube stuff, things like that. So like, I listen to that stuff more anyway, but when I listen to music, I literally have thousands of video game songs alone on my phone. That's not even counting all the other stuff I have. When I count all the music I have, I probably have around at least 5,000 to 10,000 songs on my phone. And it's like, the vast majority of them in an uncompressed wave format. And, like, I got plenty to listen to. And I got my favorite soundtracks on there for the most part. But yeah, it's just, I think that it's one of those things that I would never ever recommend that someone gets Nintendo Switch Online just for this. At least it seems like it's only the base version of the subscription. But maybe I better actually take a look at that again, because I might have actually seen something about. Oh, so I think what it is that the base version is it's something, of course, you can have the music. You can use the app if you have the base version of Nintendo Switch Online. If you have the family version of Nintendo Switch Online, which is the more expensive one, then anybody in your family can also use it. So that's cool from that standpoint. At least there's that. But yeah, it's just, I think probably the only thing that I really think is great about this is that it does have the option to extend the length of any song. So, like, for example, if you wanted to play the Me Maker music, you could have that extended for 60 minutes. And it's just continuously, doing the thing. Like, if you just want to listen to that music, it's like, hey, that's great. It's cool. You can do that, or Hyrule Field theme, or, something from Animal Crossing, so on and so forth. You can extend all these. But yeah, I don't know. It is, as one person put it, it's a really great idea released by Nintendo about a decade or so too late. Yeah. It's like, if Nintendo had just made it possible for people to buy the music, I mean, obviously the reason that they didn't do it was because of the fact that they wanted to be able to keep you from being able to play it and to charge you for it. But the funny thing also is that, like, while there was a long period of time where you couldn't use your music and their music and like your YouTube videos and that sort of thing, they don't copyright claim on it anymore. They let people use their music freely, in YouTube videos and all that. I mean, it might be different if you're just doing the music, but
Yeah,
at
they
least
should have a
like
chance to do that.
I never get copyright claims on Nintendo songs when I use them. I only get copyright claims from like pretty much anything that comes from Warner. Sometimes Sony. It just depends. I usually try to keep the levels balanced enough to where it's quiet enough to where it's not automatically picking it up and then it's not doing the copyright claim. And even when it does do the copyright claim, most of the time I can submit a counter, or I mean like a dispute the claim, and then they won't ever respond, and then the copyright claim gets released. I will say one thing that is annoying is occasionally I'll get a copyright claim on a song, but the copyright claim is from someone who did a cover of a song, and I'm not even using the cover of the song. I'm using the original version of the song, and I'm getting a copyright claim. It's like, I'm not using your version. I'm not using your recording. I'm using the original version of the song. It's mostly been like some Octopath Traveler music that I've used. That Family Jewels, who's does like rock, heavy metal covers of a bunch of video game music. I'll get copyright claims from his. And I know it's not like him personally doing it. It's whatever service is used for that. And so far, every time I've gotten a copyright claim, I dispute it. They never fight it, and it just goes away. But it's like, I don't even have the option to select, this is not their version of the song. They do not have any claim over this. This is a song that was composed by someone completely different. I'm not using this person's cover. I'm using the original version of the song. And if Sony wants to do a claim against it because Sony owns the rights to that music because it's published through them, that's one thing. But when it's someone they don't own the rights to the music, they own the rights to their recording, and that's it. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Got way off topic, but as an overall thing, I think this is okay, but I don't think it's revolutionary. I think if you already have Nintendo Switch Online and you want to listen to some Nintendo music without having to dig all over the place in order to find it, then it can be nice. But if you don't already have Nintendo Switch Online, don't get it for this. And I don't think you should pay Nintendo for this stuff when you can find Nintendo music online for free. And if Nintendo really wants money for it, they can sell the soundtracks. Make it possible for people to buy them. And they would make a whole lot more money out of it anyway. Granted, it wouldn't be recurring revenue like they get from Switch Online, but I mean, you charge $10 a soundtrack, people will buy it. Hands down. I can think of a handful of those soundtracks that I would actually buy too, like Splatoon. Great music in those games. Especially the first one. The first one, well, that's the one where I remember the music the most of those three, because I haven't played the third one. But anyway, that's enough of that. You got any other thoughts on that?
No, sir.